Thank you, Madam President. I've been on the floor several times, and many of my colleagues, particularly on this side of the aisle, have been here to talk about a growing trend in America. And that is that we see a concentration of wealth and a shrinking middle class. If you're a business owner, you should be very concerned about that. A growing middle class is what buys the products, it goes to the restaurants that keep our economy going. So time and time again, we have asked to proceed on legislation that would allow us to help a growing middle class. This is not our first effort with the minimum wage. Many states have passed increases in the minimum wage. It's time for our federal government to do the same to help a growing middle class. But the last effort was on behalf of gender equity, paycheck fairness, where we sought to have a fair shot for women in the workplace so they don't have to work extra time to make the same income as a man for equal work. A woman receives on average about 77% of what a man does for the same job. So we tried to move forward with a fair shot for women with paycheck fairness, but no, the Republicans said, no, we're not even going to consider, I'm not even going to take that up. And you're hearing some of the same arguments that you're hearing now in regards to proceeding on the debate on the minimum wage. My friend from Texas talked about the Affordable Care Act. We're proud that the Affordable Care Act is a fair shot for all Americans to have access to quality, affordable health care. Millions of Americans today have quality health insurance coverage that they didn't have before the passage of the Affordable Care Act. It's working. We now know that insurance companies can't discriminate against women or anyone based upon pre-existing conditions. Those days are over. Fair shot for health care access for all Americans. We know that small business owners now can get competitive plans, and they can choose among a lot of different type of plans. Fair shot for small business owners to be treated equally with larger companies in regards to the insurance marketplace. We've done that. And we've expanded Medicare to close that coverage gap known as the donut hole for prescription drug coverage, and no longer any co-payments on preventive health care. We've extended Medicare because we want a fair shot for our seniors for their security, and that's why our caucus defends the Social Security system, knowing how important it is for our seniors. And yes, we do fight for our children. Fair shot for our children means that we support Head Start and we support affordable higher education, because then we know that's the ticket to economic growth. But in a few moments, we'll have a chance for a fair shot for working families in this country by moving to consider the minimum wage law. We haven't adjusted the minimum wage law for a long time. I heard my friend from Texas talk about the job issues. Every time that we've increased the minimum wage, our economy has grown. And there's a reason for that. It's a reason for that. This will put $34 billion into the economy. That's going to help grow the economy. It lifts 2 million Americans out of poverty. Think about this. If you work 40 hours a week and you receive the minimum wage, there's not a state in this country where you can get affordable housing. You can't support your family on the minimum wage in the United States of America. By passing the minimum wage, we give 28 million Americans a raise. This is a fair shot for all workers in this country. And let me just dispel some of the rumors that are out there. The average age of a person on minimum wage is 35 years old. We're not talking about college students. We're talking about people trying to support a family on minimum wage. And they can't do it. Many have children. The majority are women. It's time that we answer this inequity in our system. We haven't increased the minimum wage. And in fact, if you look at what it was in 1968, this increase will basically get us back to where we were in 1968. It will help our economy. We've heard these projections before, that every time we do this, that it'll kill jobs. It doesn't do that. Look at the history. Look at what's happened on the previous increases in the minimum wage. Our economy has gotten stronger. It has grown stronger. So, Madam President, it is time to give a raise to American workers. It's time to help a growing middle class. It is time that we give a fair shot to working families in America. I would urge my colleagues to vote to proceed on this debate. Don't continue a filibuster. Let's give America a fair shot, and I urge my colleagues to support the motion to proceed. With that, Madam President, I would yield the floor.